You've been there, haven't you? Lying awake in the dark, replaying every conversation, every glance, every touch, desperately trying to assemble the pieces into a clear picture. You're looking for a sign, a definitive signal that she feels the same way you do. But you've been taught to look for the wrong things. You're waiting for the lightning strike, the passionate declaration, the grand cinematic gesture, the moment she breaks down and confesses her undying love. Here is the paradox that most men will never understand. The loudest signals are often the most hollow. A woman's true emotional investment isn't found in the firework display of infatuation. It's discovered in the quiet, consistent, almost invisible ways she integrates you into her world. It's not a performance for you to watch. It's a subtle restructuring of her own life. And the signs are so quiet you could easily miss them if you're only listening for thunder. This is the silent language of female commitment. If this truth already resonates with something deep inside you, then subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share your thoughts below, because we are about to dismantle the illusion you've been chasing. You've been conditioned to act like a detective, analyzing her texts for exclamation points, measuring the warmth of her smile, treating her affection like a currency you need to earn and count. This turns you into a scorekeeper, perpetually anxious, riding a wave of hope one day and crashing into a wall of doubt the next. You mistake her excitement for commitment and her validation seeking for genuine desire. This frantic search for certainty, this need for a clear verbal confirmation, is the very thing that blinds you to the real evidence. It keeps you focused on the surface, on the noise and the drama, while the profound, steady current of her real feelings flows silently beneath. The hidden truth is that genuine female investment is not a declaration, it is an integration. A woman who is truly bonding with you doesn't just give you her time or affection. She begins to subconsciously weave you into the very fabric of her reality. She starts to make space for you, not just in her calendar, but in her mind, her future, and her most vulnerable internal world. It's a process of merger, not a sudden event. Think of it like a river, slowly changing its course. There is no single moment of decision, no loud announcement. Instead, there are thousands of small, imperceptible shifts as the water finds a new, more natural path. You're looking for the moment she says, "I can't live without you." But the real proof is in the way she has already, quietly, started to build a life where she doesn't have to. You've been looking at a photograph when you should have been watching a film. This is why you feel so much confusion. You are trying to solve a complex emotional equation with the wrong variables. You are listening for words when you should be observing behavior. The anxiety you feel is born from this fundamental misunderstanding. But that ends today. The 5 behaviors we are about to explore are your map. They are the subtle, undeniable signs that she is not just interested in you, but is actively, subconsciously investing in a future with you. This knowledge will not make you a manipulator. It will make you a leader. It will replace your anxiety with a deep, grounded confidence that comes not from controlling her, but from understanding her. You will stop chasing her validation and start recognizing the value of her vulnerability. You will learn to stop listening for affection and start seeing integration, and that changes everything. The first and most dangerous lie you believe is that her silence is a sign of rejection. When her texts become shorter, when there's a new, unfamiliar space between your conversations, your immediate instinct screams that you are losing her. You feel a cold dread creeping into your chest, a primal panic that tells you to act now, to close the distance, to fix whatever is broken. So you chase. You text more, you call, you ask what's wrong, you try to fill that silence with your own noise, your own anxiety. You see her withdrawal as a direct reflection of your value, and it terrifies you. This belief that her distance equals your deficit is the tripwire that causes you to lose your footing every single time. It hands her all the power, because your emotional stability now depends entirely on her proximity, on her constant reassurance. You've just turned her into the source of your confidence, and that is a weight she never asked to carry. But what if her silence isn't an absence, but a presence? What if it isn't a void, but a space she is creating to observe you? The truth is, when a woman feels a connection deepening, she will often pull back slightly, not to run away, but to see what you will do with the space. She is testing the container. She needs to know if your presence is grounded in your own sense of self, or if it is a fragile thing that will shatter without her constant validation. When you flood that space with panicked texts and needy questions, you give her the answer. You show her that you cannot hold your center, that you are terrified of uncertainty, that your calm is conditional. You fail the test not because she lost interest, but because you proved you couldn't handle the quiet tension required for true intimacy to grow. Her silence was a question, and your panic was a very clear and disappointing. The second lie is even more seductive. You believe her intense forward energy is a definitive sign of commitment. When she initiates every conversation, showers you with compliments, and seems endlessly available, you feel a rush of certainty. You mistake this constant stream of attention for a deep, unbreakable bond. This is the illusion of infatuation, and it is a powerful drug for the male ego. You interpret her eagerness as proof of her investment, her passion as a promise of her loyalty. This belief makes you feel powerful, desired, and in control, but you are standing on a foundation of sand, celebrating a storm of emotion while ignoring the fact that storms always pass. You've become addicted to the high of her validation, and this addiction blinds you to the subtle, more crucial signs of what is actually happening beneath the surface. Tell me if this pattern feels painfully familiar. The brutal truth is that this kind of explosive, front-loaded affection is often a sign of her own emotional instability, not her deep connection to you. She isn't investing in you. She is using your attention as a mirror to feel good about herself. It is a performance of interest, driven by a deep need for validation. This woman isn't building a future with you. She is temporarily hiding from her own emptiness in the intensity of a new connection. And when that intensity fades, as it always does, or when she finds a new source of validation, she will disappear as quickly as she arrived, leaving you confused and hollowed out. You were so mesmerized by the fireworks that you never stopped to ask if there was anything real left after the show was over. You mistook the heat of a fleeting fire for the enduring warmth of a hearth. This leads us to the core illusion that fuels all your mistakes, the belief that you can and should control her emotional state. You operate as if her feelings are a puzzle to be solved, a fortress to be conquered. If she's happy, you believe you did something right. If she's distant, you believe you did something wrong and must now execute the correct maneuver to fix it. This turns your entire interaction into a high-stakes chess match where you are constantly calculating, performing, and reacting. Her emotional landscape becomes a territory you must manage, and this desperate need for control is the very source of your anxiety. It is a profoundly masculine error to believe that the world of feminine emotion can be bent to your will through logic and action. This isn't strength. It's a frantic attempt to avoid the vulnerability of truly connecting with another human being. Here is the paradox you must understand to reclaim your power. You only gain influence when you release the need for control. The moment you start chasing, demanding, or attempting to manage her feelings, you broadcast your own weakness. Your panicked pursuit doesn't communicate your value, it communicates your fear of losing her, which she correctly interprets as a lack of your own internal stability. A woman cannot feel safe with a man who is not safe with himself. She cannot build a foundation on ground that trembles with his insecurity. The lie you believed was that your effort could secure her investment. The truth is that your effort to control the outcome is precisely what makes her feel unsafe to invest. You think you are demonstrating passion, but all she feels is the suffocating grip of your need. The true architecture of female attraction is built on a single, unwavering foundation: emotional safety. Her every action, every word, and every silence is, at its core, a subconscious test of that foundation. You have been interpreting her behavior as a reflection of your worth, when it has always been a measure of her own feeling of security with you. She is not playing games. She is running a deeply ingrained evolutionary diagnostic. Her heart is the most protected fortress in her world, and she will not grant access to a man who cannot prove he is a guardian, not a conqueror. Every time she pulls away, she is not rejecting you. She is observing you from a distance to see if your frame holds. She needs to know if your confidence is internal or if it is a fragile performance that depends on her applause. This is the hidden truth. Her investment is directly proportional to the safety she feels in your presence. The first sign that she is beginning to truly invest is when she offers you a small, unsolicited piece of her vulnerability. This is not a dramatic confession or a tearful breakdown. It is a quiet, almost casual mention of a past hurt, a current insecurity, or a private fear. Most men make a critical error here. They immediately jump into fix-it mode. They offer solutions, advice, or dismissive reassurances, believing this is what she wants. But she is not looking for a mechanic, she is looking for a harbor. This offering is a test. She is handing you a fragile piece of her inner world to see how you will hold it. Will you crush it with logic? Will you drop it with discomfort? Or will you simply hold it with gentle, unwavering presence? Your ability to listen, to validate without solving, and to simply be with her in that moment of openness tells her everything she needs to know about the safety of your character. Following this, you will notice her language begins to subtly shift. She will start using the word we when projecting into the near future. It might be as simple as, we should go see that movie next week, or we need to try that new restaurant downtown. These are not mere suggestions. They are subconscious rehearsals of a shared reality. Her mind is beginning to build a bridge from her world to yours, and these phrases are the first tentative planks being laid across the chasm. She is mentally integrating your presence into the landscape of her future. A needy man will hear this and cling to it, demanding certainty. A weak man will miss its significance entirely. The centered man simply acknowledges it with calm warmth, signaling back to her that this shared future is a natural, welcome, and secure possibility, allowing her to continue building the bridge at her own pace. Tell me if you've seen this before. The next indicator is when she starts seeking your opinion on things that are deeply personal to her but have nothing to do with your relationship. She might ask for your perspective on a conflict she's having with her family, a difficult decision at her job, or a challenge with a close friend. Understand this. She is not outsourcing her decision-making. She is stress-testing your mind. She wants to see how you think, what you value, and where your integrity lies. She is assessing your leadership potential not by your ability to command, but by the quality of your counsel. Do you offer wisdom or platitudes? Do you see the situation with clarity or with reactive emotion? She is, in essence, giving you a glimpse into the complexities of her life to see if you are a man whose judgment she can trust when the stakes are high. Your response reveals the very blueprint of your character. Then comes a more significant act of integration. She begins to introduce you to her inner sanctum, her closest friends. This is never a casual event. These are the gatekeepers of her world, the people whose opinions have shaped her. When she brings you into this circle, she is doing two things simultaneously. First, she is observing you under a different light, seeing how you navigate her social ecosystem. Are you authentic? Do you connect with them? Do you carry yourself with a quiet confidence that puts everyone at ease? Second, and more importantly, she is observing them. She is watching their faces, listening to their feedback after you leave, gauging their intuitive response to your presence. She is using her trusted tribe as a final verification system. This is her way of asking, do you see what I see? Is he as real as he feels? It's a vulnerable move that signals she is seriously considering you as a permanent fixture in her life. Perhaps the most profound and misunderstood sign of her investment is the emergence of comfortable silence. In the early stages of dating, silence can feel like a void, an awkward vacuum that needs to be filled with chatter and entertainment. But as her sense of safety with you deepens, that need for noise evaporates. You will find yourselves able to exist in the same room, engaged in separate activities, without a single word being spoken, and the atmosphere is not tense, but deeply peaceful. This shared stillness is the ultimate testament to her comfort. It means her nervous system has fundamentally registered your presence as a source of calm, not a trigger for anxiety. She no longer feels the need to perform or manage your experience. She can simply be herself, unguarded and at ease. This is the sacred space where true intimacy is born. You see, her emotional investment is like water. The more you try to clench your fist and hold it, the faster it slips through your fingers. You cannot force it or possess it. The lie you've been living is that you must chase the water, build dams, and frantically try to contain it. The hidden truth is that your role as a man is not to chase the river, but to become the riverbed. Your purpose, your emotional stability, your unwavering direction, that is the strong, clear path for her to flow through. When she feels the solid ground of your character beneath her, she will offer her investment not as a prize you have won, but as a natural consequence of the man you have become. Her commitment will flow toward the direction and safety you provide. Therefore, the entire dynamic shifts. You stop seeing her actions as a confusing series of mixed signals and start seeing them as a consistent stream of data about her level of trust in you. Her pulling away is no longer a personal rejection. It is an invitation for you to demonstrate your unshakable center. Her moments of vulnerability are not problems to be solved. They are opportunities to prove you are a safe harbor. This knowledge liberates you from the exhausting cycle of chasing and validation seeking. Your focus moves from the external, what can I do to make her like me, to the internal, how can I become the kind of man a high-value woman would feel safe investing in. This is the path from anxiety to authority, from confusion to clarity, and it is the only path that leads to the connection you truly seek. So now you have the map. You can see the signs, but seeing is not enough. The most critical transformation happens now in your response. The average man, upon seeing these signs of investment, reacts with a surge of panicked relief. He grasps, he clings, he tries to lock it down, immediately escalating his pressure to secure the outcome he so desperately wants. He sees her vulnerability and tries to possess it. He feels her drawing closer and pulls the rope tighter, turning her offering into a transaction. This is the moment he loses everything. The mature man, however, does not react. His response is not an action, but a state of being. He meets her integration not with anxious greed, but with quiet, unwavering presence. He understands that her investment is a delicate gift, and his only job is to prove he is a worthy container for it. His calm is the ultimate signal of his strength. When she offers that small piece of vulnerability, that story of a past hurt or a quiet fear, the centered man's reaction is a study in stillness. He does not rush in with solutions or cheap reassurances. He doesn't say, don't worry, or you should have, because he knows she is not looking for a problem to be solved. She is looking for a soul to be seen. He simply listens. He holds eye contact. He lets the weight of her words settle in the space between them, and he honors it with his silence. His presence communicates something far more powerful than any advice could. You are safe here. All parts of you are welcome here. He doesn't try to control her emotions. He simply creates the space for them to exist without judgment. You don't attract by chasing. You attract by becoming still enough to be seen. This quiet act of acceptance is the most profound form of leadership you can offer. When her silence comes and that space opens up between you, the ideal response is counterintuitive to every instinct screaming inside you. The weak man floods that space with his own anxiety. He sends the double text, asks if everything is okay, desperately trying to fill the void because her silence makes him feel his own emptiness. But the strong man understands the silence is not an absence of her, but a test of him. He holds his ground. He continues to move forward on his own path, focused on his purpose, radiating a calm that says, I am here when you return, and I am fine even if you don't. He gives her the gift of his non-neediness. This demonstrates that his emotional state is not dependent on her constant validation. It proves his center is within himself, making him the safest harbor she could possibly imagine returning to. And when she begins to use the word we, weaving you into her future, the mature man's response is one of subtle, appreciative acknowledgement, not desperate confirmation. He doesn't jump on the word and ask, so what are we? He doesn't use her tentative step forward as leverage to demand a label or a commitment. He simply meets her energy. He might smile, nod, and agree, yes, we should definitely do that. His calm acceptance signals that a shared future feels natural and right to him too. He allows the we to be a delicate seed that she has planted, and he provides the warm, steady sunlight of his presence for it to grow at its own pace. He knows that to grasp at the seedling is to uproot it. True strength lies not in forcing things to grow, but in creating the conditions where growth becomes inevitable. When she seeks your counsel on a personal matter, you must resist the urge to play the hero who solves her problems. That is the role of a father, not a partner. The centered man listens deeply, not for the solution, but for the underlying emotion she is trying to process. Instead of giving her answers, he asks powerful questions that help her find her own. How did that make you feel? Or what does your intuition tell you is the right path? He becomes a mirror, reflecting her own wisdom back to her with clarity. In doing so, he demonstrates that he trusts her judgment and respects her autonomy. He is not trying to lead her life for her. He is demonstrating the quality of mind that makes him a worthy co-pilot. She doesn't just see a man who can give advice. She sees a man whose very presence makes her more capable. Ultimately, the ideal masculine reaction is a profound act of letting go. It is the release of the need to control her, to manage her feelings, or to secure a specific outcome. It is the deep cellular understanding that the only thing you truly have control over is yourself. Your presence, your calm, your purpose, that is your domain. When you stop trying to manage her internal world, you finally master your own. This is the great paradox. Your influence over her grows in direct proportion to your indifference to having it. She feels this release as safety. She senses that your confidence is not a performance for her benefit, but the very core of who you are. The river does not struggle to find the ocean. It simply follows its own nature. In the same way, you stop chasing her and instead focus on deepening your own riverbed. And so we arrive at the great turning point, the final quiet truth that changes the entire landscape. This journey was never about decoding her. It was always about deciphering you. You came here seeking a map to her world, but what you found was the blueprint for your own. The anxiety you felt, that constant, gnawing need to know where you stand, was never a measure of her affection. It was a reflection of your own unsteadiness. The entire frantic dance of checking for signals, of analyzing her words, of seeking validation, dissolves the moment you realize the only signal that truly matters is the one you broadcast. You were looking for her investment as proof of your value, but the ultimate power lies in becoming a man whose value is so self-evident that her investment becomes a natural, inevitable consequence. The storm of uncertainty passes, and in its place is a profound, unshakable calm. Now, let's return to where we started. We began with the central paradox. She pulls away not because she feels nothing, but because she feels too much. Before, this felt like a cruel and confusing punishment. Now, you see it for what it is, a profound act of subconscious wisdom. Her withdrawal is not a rejection of you. It is a test of the container you provide. As her feelings deepen, so does her need to know if the ground beneath her is solid. She is not running from you. She is creating the necessary space to observe you. She needs to see if your center holds when her attention is removed. Will you collapse into neediness, or will you stand firm in your own purpose? Her silence is the most important question she will ever ask you. Your calm, unwavering presence is the only answer that matters. The space she creates is not a void to be feared, but a canvas on which your true character is revealed. This is how the game ends. It ends the moment you stop playing. The relentless cycle of pursuit and retreat, of her testing and you proving, ceases to exist when you anchor yourself in something more real than her validation. She does not want your explanations for why you are a good man. She wants to feel the stability of your presence. She does not need you to solve the chaos of her emotions. She needs to know that your internal world is a place of order and calm while her own storm rages. Your true power is not found in your ability to chase her down and convince her of your worth. It is found in your ability to become so rooted in your own mission, so complete within yourself, that her presence is a wonderful addition, not a desperate requirement. You stop trying to be the man she wants and start becoming the man she needs, often before she even knows it herself. The transformation, then, is not about acquiring a new set of tactics to win her over. It is about embodying a new state of being that makes the old games obsolete. When you no longer need her validation to feel whole, you become magnetic. When you can hold the tension of uncertainty without flinching, you become her rock. The path forward is not about watching her more closely, but about observing yourself with unflinching honesty. It's about building an inner world so strong, so purposeful, and so compelling that she feels an undeniable pull to enter it and contribute to it. This is the ultimate integration, not just her weaving you into her life, but her feeling an instinctual desire to be a part of the world you are building. The final liberation is realizing she doesn't complete you. Your own wholeness is what invites her in. Comment what you now see in her that you couldn't before.